Okay, so what in the world do the Beastie Boys, Johnny Cash, and a brand new AI software revolution have in common? It sounds like a setup to a joke, right? But the answer is, weirdly enough, this one guy who says he can barely even get his computer to turn on. So yeah, let's dive into this bizarre story. So this is the guy, Rick Rubin. You probably know him. He's a total legend in the music world. But here's the thing. He's famously a technophobe. Like, his whole process is about intuition, about feeling the music, not messing with computers. Which makes it all the more wild that this picture of him just vibing out became the official mascot for a super high-tech coding movement called vibe coding. How did that happen? And I mean, listen to the man himself. This quote just sums it all up. His whole creative genius comes from a place of pure feeling and intuition, not technical wizardry. He's not the guy twisting knobs or playing instruments. He literally produces based on a vibe. So it's kind of perfect, almost poetic, that when the internet was looking for a face for this new way of creating with technology, they picked him. All right, so that's the setup. Let's get into the first chapter of this whole thing. How this guy, this accidental guru, became the poster child for a movement he literally knew nothing about. So it all blew up when that photo just went viral. The tech community saw it, and something just clicked. They immediately started calling it vibe coding. And Rubin, he was just amused by the whole thing. He'd never even heard the phrase before, but he just kind of rolled with the absurdity of it all. He even said it was as if the hive mind selected me to be a part of the story. You gotta love it. Okay, so what is vibe coding anyway? What is this thing that Rick Rubin accidentally became the face of? Let's get into it. So vibe coding, and the term comes from OpenAI's own Andrej Karpathy, is basically just having a conversation with an AI to build something. Instead of you sitting there typing out every single line of complicated code, you just describe what you want. You give it the vibe. And the AI takes that and does all the hard work, spitting out the actual code to bring your idea to life. And Karpathy's own description just nails the feeling of it. It's not about being this super precise engineer. It's way more relaxed, more intuitive. It's like you see something in your head, you say it to the AI, you run what it gives you, copy-paste it, and, it mostly works. It's this back and forth, almost like a jam session with the AI. And this right here really shows you the difference. On one hand, you've got the old way, traditional coding. It's super structured, you have to plan everything out, and you need a ton of technical skill. But then you have vibe coding, which is all about being spontaneous and creative. It completely changes the game. The developer isn't so much a bricklayer anymore. They're more like a creative director, just guiding this incredibly smart AI assistant. So why is everybody so hyped about this? What's the big deal? Well, it comes down to one thing, really. Speed. Like, almost unbelievable speed. And the way it works is just so simple. Step 1, you prompt the AI with your idea. Step 2, it generates the code. Step 3, you refine it with more feedback. And step 4, you just run it and see what happens. There is this case study on an app called Econofacts, basically one of those infinite scrolling feeds. And using this simple loop, they built a working prototype in just a tiny fraction of the usual time. Okay, so how much faster are we talking? Well, some researchers actually looked into this, and the numbers they came back with are, honestly, they're staggering. Yeah, we're talking a 60 to 80% drop in the time it takes to build a prototype. Think about that. An app that would have taken a professional coder weeks to build can now be roughed out by someone who's not even a pro in a matter of days. That is a huge, huge speed boost. It really opens up software creation to way more people. But you know how it goes. Whenever you have a tool this powerful, this fast, there's always a flip side. This incredible speed doesn't come for free. There are some real risks involved.
Right? So what's the catch? The speed is fantastic, no doubt. But it really makes you wonder, what's the trade-off here? What are we giving up to get that efficiency?
Well, according to the research, there are a few big ones. First off, the code the AI spits out can be, kind of junky. It can be low quality and a nightmare to maintain later on. It can also have serious security holes. And then there's the human element. If you rely on it too much, your own coding skills can get rusty. Plus, there's this thing called automation bias, which is basically where you just automatically trust what the AI gives you, even if it's flat out wrong. That can lead to all sorts of problems with data and compliance. And this is where the story gets really interesting and comes full circle, right back to Rick Rubin. Because he was so intrigued by his new status as the vibe coding guy, he didn't just laugh it off. He actually leaned into it. And that led to a project that took this whole idea from just a coding tool to something way more philosophical.
So he teamed up with the AI company Anthropic and they made this thing called the Way of the Code. What it is a total reimagining of the ancient Chinese text, the Tao Te Ching, but for coders. It's this interactive, poetic version that looks at creating with AI not as just a technical thing, but almost as a spiritual practice. It's about surrendering to the process, about being in tune with the flow. And check out this quote from it. It really captures the whole philosophy. It says, "The vibe coder achieves greatness, not by trying to control everything, but by just getting out of the way and letting something bigger flow through them." It's a really beautiful, kind of mystical way of looking at technology, isn't it? But the project didn't land perfectly with everyone. A pretty powerful critique came out that pointed out something important. The main character, this vibe coder, was always described as he. And in the tech world, which already has a huge problem with gender imbalance, that felt like a really big oversight. It made this thing that was supposed to be universal feel, well, pretty exclusive. And this critique led to this absolutely fascinating proposal. And they used a word that comes straight from coding. Let us all fork the Tao. Now, if you don't know, forking something in the coding world just means you take a project someone else made and you create your own copy to play with and change. So the idea was, let's do that with this new sacred text. I mean, think about it. If vibe coding means anyone can build an app, then why shouldn't it mean anyone can rewrite a philosophy? Don't just interact with the art, open up the source code of the text itself and let everyone remix it, vibe with it, and make it their own. Talk about true democratization. And that leaves us with a pretty wild thought to end on, right? We started this whole journey with a funny meme about a music producer. And somehow we've ended up here. If these new AI tools are becoming so powerful that they don't just let us build apps anymore, but they let literally anyone rewrite a sacred text, what will we create? And what does that mean for the future of everything? For authority, for creativity, even for truth itself?